Good day, everyone. Today we'll delve into the final segment of our introductory module with a focus on environmental adversities, more specifically the human-induced environmental disasters and the looming threat of climate change. Our focus in this lecture will be twofold. First, we'll discuss how human actions contribute to adverse environmental changes and then their repercussions. Second, we'll explore real-world case studies that demonstrate how these adversities can disrupt human lives, societies, and entire ecosystems, and how people strive to mitigate these impacts and adapt to the new normal. Sudden environmental disasters, often caused by or exacerbated by human activities, can wreak havoc on a massive scale, causing widespread destruction, loss of life, and displacement of people. One such example is the 2011 Fukushima nuclear disaster in Japan, triggered by an earthquake and tsunami. The devastation was immense, both in terms of immediate human loss and long-term environmental damage. But the human spirit is tenacious. In the aftermath, Japan took significant measures to mitigate the effects and prevent such incidents in the future. They decommissioned the nuclear plant, embarked on an extensive cleanup operation, and implemented stricter safety measures in nuclear plants. Post-Fukushima, Japan made significant strides in expanding its renewable energy sector. They enacted the feed-in tariff scheme in 2012, incentivizing companies to invest in renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and hydroelectric power. Solar energy in particular saw substantial growth with the installation of numerous solar parks. Japan also invested in research for advanced renewable technologies, such as offshore wind and geothermal energy, making use of the country's natural resources. Despite the magnitude of the disaster, the Japanese people demonstrated admirable resilience, rebuilding their communities and lives from the ruins. The second facet of environmental adversity is the slow onset, pervasive impact of climate change. For this, let's consider the case of the Netherlands, a country grappling with sea level rise due to global warming. Around a third of the Netherlands lies below sea level, making it highly vulnerable to climate change effects. For centuries, the Dutch have been world leaders in water management, building extensive networks of dikes, canals, and pumping stations. But the threat of climate change has prompted them to reconsider their relationship with water. Instead of just fighting against the water, they are now learning to live with it. Under the Room for the River project, instead of building higher dikes, authorities are creating more areas where the rivers can safely overflow. They are redesigning cities to accommodate floodwaters, building floating houses, and creating water storage areas. This approach, known as climate adaptation, is setting an example for other countries dealing with similar challenges. Both of these examples demonstrate how human-induced environmental adversities can disrupt societies and ecosystems, but they also show how people, communities, and nations can respond to these challenges with resilience, innovation, and a commitment to sustainable practices. In conclusion, it's clear that environmental adversities pose significant threats to our world. However, our response to these challenges will define our future. Understanding our role in causing these adversities and taking proactive steps to mitigate them and adapt to them is not just beneficial, it's crucial for our survival and the health of our planet. As we move forward in the course, we'll explore more about these strategies and the roles we can play in fostering a sustainable and resilient future for ourselves and our communities. Remember, as Albert Einstein once said, we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Thus, overcoming environmental adversities demands a shift of perspective, a new way of interacting with our world that is based on understanding, respect, and sustainability.